I never thought a single sentence could destroy everything. But the moment those words left my mouth, I watched my entire world crumble right before my eyes. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old, and I live in Portland, Oregon. For the past 6 years, I've been married to Daniel, a man everyone describes as perfect. He's kind, hardworking, and devoted. He's the type of husband who brings me coffee in bed every Sunday morning, who remembers every anniversary, every little date that matters. And yet, I've been carrying a secret so dark, so devastating, that when it finally came out, it changed everything between us in ways I never imagined possible. Before I continue, if you're enjoying this story and want to hear more real confessions like this one, please click that subscribe button. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers, and your support means everything to this channel. Just one click on that red button, and you're part of this community. Let me take you back to where it all began. 6 years ago, I had just gotten out of a toxic relationship that had left me emotionally drained and completely broken. My ex, Marcus, had cheated on me multiple times, lied constantly, and made me feel like I was worthless. When we finally ended things, I was devastated. Not because I loved him anymore, but because I felt like I had wasted 3 years of my life on someone who never truly valued me. I was 26, watching all my friends get engaged and married, and I felt like I was falling behind in life. That's when I met Daniel at a friend's wedding in Seattle. He was the best man, and I was a bridesmaid. He was charming, attentive, and most importantly, he was the complete opposite of Marcus. Where Marcus was selfish and unpredictable, Daniel was generous and stable. Where Marcus made me feel small, Daniel made me feel seen. We started dating shortly after that wedding, and within a year, he proposed. Everyone was thrilled. My parents adored him. My friends kept telling me how lucky I was, and even I believed that I had finally found my happy ending. But there was something I never admitted to anyone, not even to myself for a very long time. I didn't fall head over heels in love with Daniel. I fell into comfort with him. I fell into safety. I chose him because he was everything Marcus wasn't, not because my heart raced every time I saw him. If you're still with me and this story's resonating with you, help us reach 5,000 subscribers. Click that subscribe button right now. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to you every week. The first 2 years of our marriage were peaceful. We bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood, adopted a golden retriever named Bailey, and settled into a routine that felt easy and predictable. Daniel worked as an architect, and I worked as a marketing manager for a tech startup. Our lives were comfortable, maybe even boring by some standards, but it felt safe. And after the chaos with Marcus, safe was exactly what I thought I needed. But somewhere around our 3rd anniversary, things started to feel different. Not bad, just flat. The passion that I had hoped would grow over time never really materialized. Our conversations became predictable. Our intimacy became routine. I started noticing other couples, the way they looked at each other with genuine desire, the way they laughed together with real joy, and I wondered if Daniel and I would ever have that. I wondered if what we had was enough. Then one night, about 8 months ago, I went out for drinks with my best friend Jennifer. We were celebrating her promotion at work, and after a few glasses of wine, she started asking me about my marriage. Jennifer has always been direct, sometimes too direct. But that's what I love about her. She doesn't sugarcoat things. "Sarah, be honest with me," she said, leaning across the table. "Are you really happy with Daniel?" The question caught me off guard. I opened my mouth to give her the standard answer, the one I'd been giving everyone for years. "Of course I am. He's wonderful." But something in her eyes, maybe the concern or the genuine curiosity, made me pause. And in that pause, something inside me cracked. "I don't know," I whispered, and even I was shocked by my own honesty. He's perfect on paper, Jen. He really is. But sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions, like we're roommates who occasionally share a bed, rather than husband and wife. Are you hooked on this story? Then make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're so close to hitting 5,000 subscribers, and every single one of you matters. Click that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Jennifer didn't judge me. Instead, she asked more questions, and I found myself opening up about feelings I'd been suppressing for years. I told her how I sometimes wondered what my life would have been like if I'd waited longer after Marcus, if I'd given myself more time to heal before jumping into another relationship. I told her how I felt guilty for not loving Daniel the way he deserved to be loved. I told her how I felt trapped in a marriage that everyone thought was perfect, but that felt empty to me. Have you ever told him any of this? Jennifer asked. How could I replied. How do I tell my husband that I married him because he was safe? Because I was scared of being alone? Because everyone expected me to settle down and he seemed like the right choice at the right time? How do I tell him that I'm not sure I ever truly fell in love with him? That conversation with Jennifer changed something in me. It was like she had opened a door I'd been keeping locked for years, and now I couldn't close it again. I started paying more attention to my feelings, to the disconnect between Daniel and me. I started noticing how he would reach for my hand, and I would feel nothing. How he would tell me he loved me and I would say it back out of habit, rather than genuine emotion. And then, 3 months ago, everything came crashing down in the worst possible way. It was a Friday night, and Daniel had surprised me by coming home early from work with takeout from my favorite Italian restaurant. He had set up candles in the dining room, put on soft music, and was clearly trying to create a romantic evening. I appreciated the gesture. I really did. But instead of feeling excited or touched, I felt suffocated. I felt guilty. I felt fake. If this story's keeping you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We need your help to reach 5,000 subscribers. Just click that red button below and you're part of our community. We sat down to eat, and Daniel started talking about his day, about a new project at work, about plans he had for us to take a vacation to Hawaii for our anniversary. He was animated, excited, planning our future together while I sat there feeling like I was watching a movie of someone else's life. And then, out of nowhere, he said something that would change everything. Sarah, I know things have felt a little off between us lately, he said, reaching across the table to take my hand. But I want you to know that I love you more than anything in this world. You're my best friend, my partner, my everything. I can't imagine my life without you. His words should have made me happy. They should have filled me with warmth and gratitude. Instead, they filled me with panic. Because in that moment, I realized that I couldn't keep pretending anymore. I couldn't keep lying to him, to myself, to everyone around us. I couldn't keep living this perfect life that felt so desperately wrong. Daniel, I said, pulling my hand away from his. We need to talk. The look on his face changed instantly. The hope in his eyes dimmed, replaced by confusion and a hint of fear. What's wrong? He asked. And that's when I made the biggest mistake of my life. Instead of choosing my words carefully, instead of thinking about the consequences, I just let everything pour out of me in a stream of brutal honesty that I couldn't take back. I'm not happy, I said. I haven't been happy for a long time, Daniel. And I need to be honest with you about something that I've never had the courage to say before. He sat back in his chair, his face pale. What are you talking about? Make sure you're subscribed if you want to hear how this unfolds. We're building an amazing community here, and we're so close to 5,000 subscribers. Your click makes all the difference. The words came out before I could stop them. I married you because I had no better option at the time. I was broken from my relationship with Marcus. I was scared of being alone. And you were there. You were safe. You were stable. And everyone told me you were perfect. So I convinced myself that you were what I needed. But I never fell in love with you the way a wife should love her husband. I settled for you, Daniel. And I'm so sorry. But I don't know if I can keep pretending that this is enough anymore. The silence that followed was deafening. Daniel just stared at me like I'd physically struck him. His mouth opened and closed several times, but no words came out. The candlelight flickered between us, casting shadows on his face that made him look like a stranger. "You settled for me?" he finally whispered, and the pain in his voice nearly broke me. 6 years, Sarah. 6 years of marriage, and you're telling me that you never actually loved me? That I was just convenient? It's not that simple, I tried to explain, tears streaming down my face now. I care about you, Daniel. I really do. You're a good man, probably the best man I've ever known. But I don't feel that spark, that passion, that deep connection that I think marriage is supposed to have. And I've been feeling so guilty about it, so trapped, and I couldn't keep lying to you anymore. He stood up from the table, his chair scraping against the floor. "So what do you want, Sarah? A divorce? You want to throw away 6 years because you're chasing some fantasy idea of passion and romance? Do you have any idea how much I love you? How much I've sacrificed for us?" "I know," I sobbed. "And that's what makes this so hard. You don't deserve this. You deserve someone who loves you completely, who chose you because they couldn't imagine their life with anyone else. And I'm not that person, Daniel. I'm so sorry, but I'm not. Are you still listening? If this story has you completely invested, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're working towards 5,000 subscribers, and we can't do it without you. Click that button and be part of something special." Daniel walked out of the dining room without another word. I heard him go upstairs, heard the bedroom door close, and I just sat there at that beautifully set table with untouched food and dying candles, wondering what I had just done. I had finally told the truth, the terrible, ugly truth that I had been hiding for 6 years. And now there was no taking it back. He didn't come back downstairs that night. I slept on the couch, if you could call lying awake staring at the ceiling sleeping. I kept replaying his face, the way his entire world had shattered in front of me, and I felt like the worst person alive. But mixed in with the guilt was a strange sense of relief. I had finally said what I had been holding inside for so long, and even though the consequences were devastating, at least I wasn't living a lie anymore. The next morning I expected him to be gone. I expected him to have packed a bag and left, or to demand that I leave. But when I went upstairs, he was sitting on the edge of our bed, fully dressed, staring at his hands. "We need to talk," he said, his voice flat and emotionless. I sat down beside him, keeping some distance between us. "Daniel, Let me talk," he interrupted. "I've been up all night thinking about everything you said, and I need to know something. Is there someone else?" "What?" "No," I said immediately. "This has nothing to do with anyone else. This is about us, about how I've been feeling." He nodded slowly. "Okay. Second question. Do you want a divorce?" The question hung in the air between us. Did I want a divorce? I had been so focused on finally admitting the truth that I hadn't really thought about what came next. Did I want to end my marriage? Did I want to start over? At 32, did I want to be single again? Back in the dating world? Possibly alone? Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers, and your support means the world. Just click that subscribe button below. "I don't know," I answered honestly. "I don't know what I want, Daniel. I just know that I couldn't keep living the way we were. Something had to change. He turned to look at me then, and what I saw in his eyes wasn't anger or hatred. It was something far more complex, a mixture of hurt, determination, and something else I couldn't quite identify. "Then I'm going to ask you for something," he said. "Give me 3 months. 3 months to show you that what we have is worth fighting for. 3 months to prove to you that the love you're looking for has been here all along. You just haven't been paying attention. If after 3 months you still feel the same way, if you still don't love me, then I'll give you the divorce without a fight. But I need you to really try, Sarah. I need you to open yourself up to the possibility that what we have could be everything you've been searching for." I was stunned. After everything I had said, after crushing him so completely, he was willing to fight for us. "Why would you do that?" I asked. "Why would you fight for someone who just told you they settled for you?" "Because I love you," he said simply. "And because I think you're wrong. I think somewhere deep down, you do love me, but you're so caught up in your guilt and your fear that you can't see it. I think if you give us a real chance, if you let go of all the baggage from your past and all the expectations you've built up in your head, you might discover that what we have is exactly what you need." His confidence was both touching and terrifying. Part of me wanted to say no, to end things cleanly and move on. But another part of me, the part that remembered all the good times we'd shared, all the ways he had supported me over the years, couldn't help but wonder if he was right. What if I was sabotaging something good because it didn't match my fantasy of what love should look like? "Okay," I heard myself say. 3 months. If you're as invested in this story as I hope you are, please subscribe to the channel. We're building towards 5,000 subscribers, and every single one matters. Click subscribe and let's grow together. And that's how the strangest 3 months of my life began. Daniel became a different person, or maybe he became more of himself than he had been in years. He started planning surprises for me, little romantic gestures that felt genuine rather than obligatory. He would leave notes around the house for me to find, each one expressing something he loved about me. He started taking me on dates, real dates, to places we'd never been before. But it wasn't just about romance. He also started asking me deeper questions, really listening to my answers. He wanted to know about my dreams, my fears, the things I had never shared with him before. He asked me about my relationship with Marcus, about why it had hurt me so deeply, about what I'd been looking for when I started dating again. And slowly, reluctantly, I started opening up to him in ways I never had before. One night, about a month into our 3-month agreement, we were lying in bed after one of our dates. He had taken me to a jazz club in downtown Portland, something I had mentioned wanting to do years ago, but we'd never gotten around to. The music had been incredible, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, I had felt genuinely happy with him. "Can I ask you something?" he said in the darkness. "Of course." "What did Marcus have that you thought I didn't?" The question surprised me. "What do you mean? You said you never felt that spark with me, that passion. But you felt it with Marcus, right? Even though he treated you terribly, even though he broke your heart, there was something there that kept you with him for 3 years. I want to know what it was." This is the moment where everything shifts. Stay with me, and if you're not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers. Click that red button and be part of this journey. I thought about his question carefully. "Marcus made me feel alive," I finally said. Everything with him was intense, dramatic, passionate. When things were good, they were incredible. When things were bad, they were terrible. But I was always feeling something, you know? It was never boring. never predictable. And with me, everything is boring and predictable, Daniel said, and I could hear the hurt in his voice. No, that's not what I meant, I said quickly. With you, everything is calm, stable. There's no drama, no chaos. And after Marcus, I thought that's what I wanted. But somewhere along the way, I started confusing calm with empty. I started thinking that because we didn't have that intensity, we didn't have passion. He was quiet for a moment. Do you know why I don't create drama? He finally asked. It's not because I don't feel things deeply. It's because I respect you too much to play games. I don't make you jealous because I don't want anyone else. I don't pick fights because I'd rather solve problems than create them. I don't create chaos because I want to build something stable with you. But stable doesn't mean emotionless, Sarah. It means I love you enough to choose you every single day, even on the days when it's not exciting or passionate or dramatic. His words hit me harder than I expected. I had been so focused on what was missing that I had never appreciated what was there. Daniel's love wasn't flashy or intense, but it was constant. It was real. And maybe, just maybe, that was worth more than the roller coaster I'd experienced with Marcus. Over the next few weeks, I started seeing Daniel through different eyes. I started noticing the little things he did for me every day, the ways he showed his love without demanding anything in return. I started remembering why I'd said yes when he proposed, why everyone in my life had been so happy for us. And, slowly, something inside me started to shift. But just when I thought maybe, possibly I could make this work, something happened that threw everything into chaos again. Please subscribe if you want to know what happens next. We're building an incredible community here, working towards 5,000 subscribers. Your click makes all the difference. Hit that subscribe button now. It was during the second month of our 3-month agreement. I was at work when I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, a woman's voice asked if I was Sarah Mitchell. Yes, this is she, I said, confused. My name is Rebecca, the woman said. And I think we need to talk about your husband. My heart stopped. What about my husband? Can we meet in person? She asked. There's something you need to know, but I don't want to do this over the phone. I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop near my office the next day. I didn't tell Daniel about the call. Part of me was terrified that this was it, that I was about to discover he had been having an affair or hiding something terrible from me. Another part of me almost hoped for it, because it would make my decision easier. If Daniel wasn't perfect, if he had flaws and secrets too, then maybe I wouldn't feel so guilty about my own failures. When I met Rebecca the next day, I was shocked. She was beautiful, probably a few years younger than me, with long dark hair and striking green eyes. She looked nervous as she sat down across from me. Thank you for meeting me, she said. I know this is strange, but I felt like you had a right to know. Know what? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Daniel and I dated before you met him, she said. We were together for almost 4 years. We met in college, and everyone thought we were going to get married. But then, about 7 years ago, I did something terrible. I cheated on him with a coworker. It was a stupid mistake, a moment of weakness, but Daniel found out. And instead of giving me a chance to explain, instead of trying to work through it, he just ended it. Cut me off completely. Wouldn't answer my calls. Wouldn't see me. Wouldn't give me any chance to apologize or fight for us. I sat there, processing this information. Daniel had never mentioned a serious relationship before me. He had told me he had dated people, but nothing serious. Nothing that mattered. Why had he kept this from me? Are you still with me? If you want to see where this goes, make sure you're subscribed. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers. Click that button and join our community. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because about 2 months ago, Daniel contacted me, Rebecca said, and my blood ran cold. He asked to meet with me, said he wanted closure or something. We met for coffee, and he asked me about why I had cheated, what I had been looking for, what was missing in our relationship. He told me he was trying to understand something about relationships and commitment. And then he asked me something strange. He asked me if I thought settling for someone was worse than being alone. My mouth went dry. He asked you that? Yes. And Sarah, I don't know what's going on in your marriage, but I got the feeling that he was asking for a specific reason. I got the feeling that maybe you had said something to him, or that something was happening between you two. And I thought you should know that he was reaching out to his ex, asking these questions. I would want to know if I were in your position. I thanked Rebecca and left the coffee shop in a daze. Daniel had contacted his ex and never told me. He had asked her questions about our exact situation without being honest about why he wanted to know. Was he comparing us? Was he wondering if he should have tried harder with Rebecca? Was this whole 3-month agreement just a way for him to figure out if he wanted to be with me, or if he should move on to someone else? That night, I confronted him. Why did you meet with Rebecca? I demanded as soon as he walked through the door. The color drained from his face. How did you... She contacted you. Yes, she contacted me, and she told me everything. How could you meet with your ex and not tell me? How could you be asking her about our relationship without being honest with me about what you were doing? Make sure you're subscribed to see how Daniel responds to this confrontation. We're working towards 5,000 subscribers, and we can't reach it without you. Click subscribe right now. Daniel set down his briefcase and ran his hands through his hair. I was trying to understand, he said. I was trying to figure out why you felt the way you did. Why you thought you had settled for me. Rebecca was the only other serious relationship I'd ever had, and when she cheated on me, I felt like I wasn't enough. Like I was boring or safe or whatever you want to call it. So yes, I reached out to her. I asked her why she did what she did. What she was looking for that she didn't find with me. And do you know what she told me? What? I asked, my voice shaking. She told me that she had made the biggest mistake of her life. She said that what we had was real and stable and good, but she got caught up in the excitement of something new, something dangerous. She threw away 4 years with someone who loved her because she confused stability with boredom. And she's regretted it every day since. She told me that if she could go back, she would choose me over and over again, because she finally understands that real love isn't about intensity or drama. It's about choosing someone every single day, even when it's not exciting. I stared at him, tears streaming down my face. So you've been using her story to try to change my mind? To make me feel guilty about my feelings? No, he said firmly. I've been using her story to understand you better. To understand that sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes they don't recognize what they have until it's gone. And I wanted to figure out if there was a way to help you see what's right in front of you before you threw it all away the way she did. We stood there in our living room, the air thick with tension and unspoken words. And in that moment, I realized something important. Daniel wasn't perfect. He had kept secrets. He had manipulated the situation by talking to Rebecca without telling me. But he had done it because he was fighting for us, because he believed in us even when I didn't. I don't know what to do, I whispered. I'm so confused, Daniel. Part of me sees what you're trying to show me, sees all the ways you love me and all the ways this could be enough. But another part of me is still scared that I'm settling, that I'm giving up on some idea of what love should be. He walked over to me and gently wiped the tears from my face. Then let's finish the 3 months, he said. We have 1 month left. Let's use that time to really figure this out. No more secrets, no more games. Just honesty and effort. And at the end of it, whatever you decide, I'll respect it. If you're invested in finding out what Sarah decides, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers, and your support helps us share more stories like this. Click that red button below. The final month was the hardest and the most revealing. Daniel and I talked more honestly than we ever had before. I told him about my fears, about feeling like I was losing time, about wondering if there was something better out there. He told me about his own insecurities, about feeling like he would never be enough for me, about the fear of losing me to some fantasy version of love that doesn't really exist. We went to couples therapy, which I had initially resisted, but which turned out to be incredibly helpful. Our therapist asked me a question that changed everything. Sarah, what would the perfect love look like to you? Describe it in detail. I thought about it and started describing this passionate, intense, all-consuming love where we couldn't keep our hands off each other, where every moment was exciting and unpredictable. And how long do you think that kind of love lasts? She asked. I don't know, I admitted. Forever? She smiled gently. Research shows that intense, passionate love typically lasts between 18 months and 3 years. After that, if there's no deeper foundation, the relationship falls apart. What you're describing is the beginning of a relationship, the honeymoon phase. But real, lasting love, the kind that sustains a marriage for decades, is what comes after. It's the companionate love, the deep friendship, the choice to commit to someone every day even when the butterflies fade. What you have with Daniel isn't less than what you're looking for. It's actually more. It's the deeper, more meaningful kind of love that most people hope to find after the initial passion fades. Her words echoed in my head for days. Had I been chasing a fantasy? Had I been so focused on what I thought love should look like that I had completely missed what it actually was? We're almost at the end of this story, but I need your help first. If you've made it this far, please subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to reach 5,000 subscribers, and every single one of you matters. Click subscribe and be part of this community. Last week, our 3 months came to an end. Daniel didn't pressure me for an answer. He just waited, giving me the space to make my decision. And I've spent the last 7 days thinking about everything, analyzing every moment, every feeling, every possibility. Here's what I know. I don't have that answer yet. I know that sounds terrible after everything we've been through, but it's the truth. I know that I hurt Daniel in ways that might never fully heal. I know that I went into this marriage for the wrong reasons. I know that what I thought I wanted might not be what I actually need. But I also know that Daniel's a good man who loves me deeply. I know that what we've built together over the past 6 years has value. I know that the love I was looking for might have been right in front of me all along, hidden behind my own fears and expectations. But I also know that I can't stay in this marriage just because I feel guilty, or because he's a good man, or because everyone expects me to. I need to figure out if I can truly love him the way he deserves to be loved. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm capable of that kind of love with him, or if the damage I've done to us is too deep to repair. So here's where I am, sitting in my living room, watching Daniel sleep on the couch, because we still can't quite share a bed comfortably yet, trying to decide the future of my marriage. Tomorrow, I need to give him my answer. Tomorrow, I need to decide if I'm going to fight for this marriage, or if I'm going to walk away and start over. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm turning to you. What would you do if you were in my position? Would you stay and try to build something real with someone who loves you, even if you're not sure you can love them back the same way? Or would you leave and take the risk of being alone, hoping that someday you'll find that perfect love you've been dreaming about? Would you choose stability or possibility? Would you choose the person who's been there, or the idea of what might be out there? Leave your answer in the comments. Tell me what you would do. Because right now, I genuinely don't know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. We're so close to reaching 5,000 subscribers, and I want to share whatever happens next with all of you. Click that subscribe button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and be part of this journey with me. Because tomorrow everything changes, and I still don't know which way it's going to go.